Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Don Mafia Report. Today, we are going to be answering the age-long question, what has prevented the Buffalo Bills from getting over the hump and winning the Super Bowl? Or dare I even say, competing for one? Very excited to dive into today's topic. I did miss each and every single one of you. I have been gone since Friday. I have had a horror story with my dentist, right? Like he has done a great job. But unfortunately, I have had a lot of work to be done. Okay. I got my wisdom teeth out, at least one half of my face on Friday. And then I had a root canal yesterday. So I've been in quite a bit of pain, and I was largely speaking like a stroke victim due to all the Novocaine running through my dome. So I didn't feel comfortable hopping on stream and not being able to give you guys the show that you deserved. However, I appreciate your patience. We are back to the regularly scheduled programming, and smash that like button, right? It's funny. If anybody were to ever ask me what that mouth do, I would tell them cost me money, because damn, it was an expensive time in the dentist office for the past couple of days. I know, guys. Listen, floss, brush your teeth, do that whole thing. Flossing's very important. Flossing is very, very important. I learned that the hard way. Root canals suck, but I am so glad to be back as Eric comes in and says, that is horrible. You have no idea, my friend. Bill's going to the Super Bowl this year. No worries. Scott Blakely, I love the energy. I love the energy. What can you do to not need a root canal? So the thing was that I did not have dental insurance for about, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years. And granted, like I brush my teeth like 3 times a day and floss. But sometimes if you have a cavity and it doesn't get caught early enough, then eventually it becomes a root canal, which sucks, right? And it's definitely like terrible, because I was always under the impression without dental insurance that a cleaning or a checkup would be wildly expensive. But actually, it costs about $150 or like $200 just for like a standard checkup. And I was like, oh shit. And so if I were to know that, then I 110% would have just gone. So going to the dentist, very important, folks. I do not care how often you brush your teeth or how good you think you are with dental hygiene. Damn, holy hell, dude. Do not recommend a damn root canal. That's for damn sure. Anyway, all right, guys, let's get into business. Smash that like button for me if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. We have John has come in. Way to go, Dan. Flossing is the key. It is. And a water flosser, my friend. Avoid that at all costs. And then I actually need to get my other wisdom teeth on the other side of my face done mid-July. But is what it is. We are back in action. However, the title of today's video and the topic of today was largely inspired by an interaction I had with ESPN analyst Mina Kimes. And I got to tell you, listen, Mina is one of my favorite analysts. Actually, I would say this. This is my hottest take. Out of all of the analysts on ESPN, Mina is number one. And there is a large gap between two. She's very knowledgeable. She's one of my favorite listens. However, I did have a take that I disagreed with her a bit earlier this weekend while I was recovering from my dental episode. However, she ended up coming out, and let me share my screen for all of you to get a visual as I dive into the conversation of today. But she went on ESPN on NFL Live, and she mentioned, hey, you know what? The Buffalo Bills missing piece, hands down, has to be a wide receiver, someone that can beat one-on-one. That's the reason they didn't get over the hump during the last playoff. And I ultimately ended up reposting this and being a bit sassy, right? Like maybe it was just the pain talking or the pain pills that I was on prescribed by my dentist. I don't know. But I said a wide receiver core that helped lead the Bills to the highest scoring offense in 2024, playoffs included, is the problem, quote unquote. And then Mita responded, I wasn't asked what the problem was, but what it would take to get over the hump. It's a good group, but they need someone to make another jump. So I respected that, right? She ultimately ended up standing on business. And And so your boy respects that. I do. But then I ended up posting this video, and this is kind of my thoughts on what exactly
what is
Buffalo Bills back. Let's take a listen together rather than me going on a yap session. As we are watching this, folks, please do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications. Let's go.
truly holding the Buffalo Bills back from winning the Super Bowl? Now, Mina Kimes ended up saying yesterday that the Buffalo Bills need the wide receivers to improve in order for the Buffalo Bills to win a Super Bowl, mentioning that they need a one-on-one man beater. She highlighted this great statistic where Josh Allen was top 3 in beating zone coverage and number 9 overall in the NFL for beating man. Now, as you can see, I was not on board with this. I said a wide receiver core that has helped lead the Buffalo Bills to the highest scoring offense in 2024, playoffs included, is the problem. I suppose I was a little sassy there. Don't get me wrong. I love Mina. Great analyst. And she doubled down. She thinks that wide receivers are truly what is going to allow the Buffalo Bills to get over the hump. Now, do I think that Buffalo could use some improvements as far as personnel is concerned for the wide receiving room? Absolutely. But it's very difficult for me to look at a team that scored 30-plus points in 12 games in 2024, which, by the way, folks, this is second all-time, second to the Denver Broncos in 2013. Solid company, if I might add. Now, the Achilles heel for the Buffalo Bills last year had everything to do with lack of pass rush and a significant drop-off in secondary talent. Both of those issues were highlighted ad nauseum during the AFC Championship game, where we allowed the Kansas City Chiefs to score 30 points. I believe they only did that 2 other times in the regular season and playoffs included. It had to do with the fact that Buffalo was 27th in the league for preventing third down conversions. Patrick Mahomes had all the time in the world. And such a significant drop-off when it came down to our second string in the cornerback room. Once Christian Benford went down, Kyer Elam was getting absolutely tore apart. And then rewinding the year before, where we got booted by the Kansas City Chiefs, where we had A.J. Klein off of the couch playing the linebacker position. We had Christian Benford out in that game as well, and Bernard and Matt Milano. Has everything to do with lack of quality depth and pass rush. Now, look, I'm very optimistic in Elijah Moore and also Joshua Palmer for this wide receiver room in being that one-on-one or man beater. But how much more could an offense really improve from second all-time and scoring 30-plus points? The biggest issue with this team has always been pass rush and lack of depth, specifically in the secondary. Say that you don't believe me, just look at the front office's moves this past offseason about how much of a defensive focus there was in the NFL draft, even going into free agency. But hey, listen, we are all on the same team here. Go Bills. We're finally getting it done.
So that was my response. And so I got to tell you, right? Like, I did want a vertical threat wide receiver. I really did, right? As many of you knew, I was really wanting Jalen Royals or Kyle Williams in the 3rd or the 4th because I thought that that was a piece that would sort of be a cherry on top right on this offense. But I think we can all agree, and I think the front office also has agreed with us as well, that defense and depth was the biggest issue this team has had on the defensive side of the ball. And when you look at how historic our offense was, and folks, I was shocked when I looked this up, but when the Buffalo Bills had 12 games last season, 30-plus points, that is second all-time in the history of the NFL, second to the 2013 Denver Broncos. That's a hell of a damn feat. That is a hell of a damn feat. So when I heard, oh, no, like they just need one wide receiver to create consistent separation, I certainly get that. Like, that's basically souping up your already souped up vehicle that you inherited / bought, but then ignoring the fact that your transmission light has been on for God knows how long. And this year I'm feeling a hell of a lot more confident. I really, really am, because that's been the glaring hole, is defensive blunders when it came into the playoffs. And I think we can all agree here that the biggest thing that made Bills fans want to rip their hair out due to any lackluster defensive performance had everything to do with our defensive line not consistently creating pressure, and then a significant drop-off when our starters ended up going down with an injury. We could fix that if, by the grace of God, that somehow this Buffalo Bills team can go into the playoffs just once and be fully healthy, maybe we would be having an entire different conversation. But like I said, those two biggest needs or issues that have plagued us for the past 2 years, I think the front office really hammered down on all of these. They were obsessive with attempting to address it by bringing in so many different defensive linemen, by drafting a bunch of defensive linemen, edge rushers, by triple dipping at the cornerback position, by bringing back Trey White, Dane Jackson in the cornerback room. I'm feeling pretty damn good about it. So that was my take. That's what I think has been plaguing this team. And quite frankly, I do think the way that this roster is built, I think this Buffalo Bills team has no excuse. I will not have any excuse at all. I will not have a single excuse if the Buffalo Bills do not win it all this year. And so I'm not going to sit back and say, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this. This team has no excuses not to win the whole thing this year. This is, in my opinion, the best top to bottom roster that we have seen in Buffalo Bills history. From a depth perspective, from continuity on the offensive line, in the trenches. Ideally, like we are liking what we're seeing from Elijah Moore and Josh Palmer. A lot of upside there, although it's not proven. It's just based off of metrics. But that's my take. Folks, as you know, this is the time where I make a transition over to my live chat. I normally speak for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then afterwards, I allow my live audience to take control of the conversation. In order for me to easily decipher between each and every single submission, please label them appropriately because I'm trying to make sure that I can provide a solid listening experience to anybody that's tuning in on the replay and or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I do have a really fun announcement for each and every single one of you. Who here is college football fans? Who are college football fans in this live chat? I got to tell you, if you are, Roundtable Sports is going to be launching their version of Fourth and Forever or The Huddle, but for college football in August, right? I will be a host of the show, and then I'm bringing on 2 college football personalities on YouTube where we are going to be having, I want to say it's an every other day type show where we are going to be unpacking everything college ball. So stay tuned for that. It's a very exciting development over at Roundtable. So just stay tuned, and I will be having an announcement of where to go subscribe, when the show is going to start, how to follow along. I figured it was just about that time for us to knock it out. We had Glenn has come in. Why didn't the offense score 35 points in the AFC Championship? It is not all on the defense. Offense has to help as well. They certainly do. But so here was my mindset. Like, we went second all time in scoring 30 plus points right in the game. So I think since football is a team sport, like, you would want that defense to at least attempt to mirror some of the success. I'm not asking for us to have a second all-time defense like when we saw offense as far as productivity, but I did kind of want us to close the gap a little bit, right? As far as pass rush, it was absolutely terrible, especially when it came into consistency. And 27th in the league for stopping third down conversions all season. I'm not asking for perfection, but what I was asking for was at least to show some type of improvement right across the board. Give me rank 15th in the NFL for stopping third down conversions. I think that would be ideal, right? So it's hard for me to ask more of the offense that gave us historical numbers, where a lot of teams, especially the 2 teams that ended up making the Super Bowl, they didn't have nearly as close of an offense that Buffalo put out, but they did have a smaller gap right in between defensive production and offensive production. Philadelphia and Kansas City both had a team where if their offense was not on at any given week, their defense ended up rising to the occasion. And there were so many games where Buffalo, if their offense was not on, which was rare, we were SOL. Basically how I looked at it. And then Glenn says, don't drink sugar soda, but if you do it quick, not slower. Better to drink the sugar fast than sip on it all day. Some words to live by. Some words to live by right there from our good friend Glenn. Scott has come in. Dan as the OG. Scott, my man, I hope you are enjoying your beautiful Wednesday morning, my friend. Bean has been adjusting this roster for sustainable championship success. We are here. Next 5 years, 3 Super Bowl wins. See you at the parade. I got to tell you, I love that positivity in my life. I need to continue to see it in my life. I'm feeling pretty damn good about this, Scott. I appreciate you and your contributions to the channel, man. You are the man. Senke Chandler, when will we mention Sean as an issue with defense? We've already fired everyone we can. 13 seconds should have showed us Mafia members. Sean is the issue. It's tough for me to put it all on Sean McDermott. Yes, I could agree that 13 seconds largely was his fault. He could have very easily vetoed the decision from Leslie Frazier with that play call. But the past couple of years, I don't care how good of a coach you are. When you are strapped from a personnel standpoint, you can only do so much as a coach. And you can only coach up your second and third strings as much as possible. So last year and the year before, I wouldn't put a lot of it on Sean McDermott. I'd probably put about 80 to 90% on lack of personnel and the injury bug hitting at the absolute wrong time. That's my thing. If anything, could be some of the acquisitions here and there. But football is a nuanced game. There's so many different factors that could allow a team to succeed, and a lot of factors that can make a team's season or playoff performance completely crumble. And a lot of those factors are entirely out of said control. So that's where I'm at right now. Jeremy Rogers, we still doing this greatest story ever told. Can't give that up right now. Jeremy Rogers, damn, dude. The greatest story ever told. I can't believe that still resonates with the NFL community. I get DMs all the time from Bills fans being like, Dan, is this chapter 3 of the greatest story ever told? I feel like I need another. I feel like I need. And so a new storyline or narrative for the 2025 season. Last year I had revenge, and the year before was the greatest story ever told. I'm going to have to think of the ethos for 2025, and I will get back to you. Sean Kula 11. What's up, Sean? Been a long time, my friend. I hope all is well. It's everything. It's not being able to manage cap in 8 years. It's coaching, and it's players not coming through in big moments. I hope that this is the year where depth is addressed, and even more so, maybe by the grace of God, we can actually stay healthy in all of the right places when it matters most. Now, Buffalo did fire their long-tenured strength and conditioning coach. I'm curious and to see if that plays a role at all. I don't know. Charles Patterson has come in with a question. With a Super Bowl win, will there be a GOAT conversation with Allen? No, I probably wouldn't put him there, man. I think it's still too early to have him in the top 10. It's probably... So I feel like he would need to win one Super Bowl in order for him to be in the top 20. Still needs to be consistent. Maybe another MVP or 2, and then we can start to have the conversation. I just don't want him to be another Dan Marino. I don't want him to be another Dan Marino. And that's my biggest fear, is that that's where he's trending. Based off of a very good quarterback, but unfortunately a team that cannot help him get over the hump. Joseph Stabler. What's up, Joseph? Hope all is well, my friend. Who has had a better winning season than McDermott as Buffalo head coach? It's funny because, so when you look at the Buffalo Bills since 2020, we are second in win percentage. And the only other team that has been more consistent than Buffalo has been the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not bad. It's not bad, right? So I'm not the kind of guy that's ever going to hop on a bandwagon and say, we need to fire this dude because we didn't end up making the Super Bowl. For me, I'm probably not going to start pounding the table to get rid of Sean McDermott until we start to get to a season where we have 2 seasons in a row where we get first rounded. or 2 seasons in a row where we just don't make the playoffs at all, or 1 season of us finishing below 500 with 0 injury excuses. So I've never really been one to have that knee-jerk reaction of letting him go. Eric is coming in. What other coaches are out there since? Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, Charles has come in. Do you think Allen is now past Big Ben, Dan Marino, and Brett Favre? Not quite. I do want him to get a ring. And so I do want him to get a ring. And he still needs a couple of seasons of more dominance in the statistical category for me to put him up there. Dexios 999. We have Josh Allen is a good running quarterback on 3rd and 7, but he is not a good pocket passer. Josh needs to improve and be better at pre-snap reads. You should ask Brady for some free coaching on how to do that. I think he's better than you think. So he's a hell of a lot better than you think. And plus, when it comes into it, like his overall rushing attempts since he's gotten older have started to dwindle. He's been a hell of a lot better than you would think. Dayon, don't sleep on the Dolphins, Dan. This might be a very interesting year. Good stuff. Fins up. We have Dayon. Hey, man, best of luck to your Dolphins, of course, with the exception of when you play the Buffalo Bills. Let's lock into that, Sean. All is well. Same to you. I'm always watching, but sometimes can't comment. No issue at all, man. I've heard there's been a heat wave up in Buffalo, huh? Heat wave up in Western New York, baby. Guys, enjoy it. Enjoy it, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Glenn has come in. Bills do have no excuse why they will not win. They will have the Hard Knocks jinx. Oh, man. It's no excuse for us. No excuses. I am not buying into any excuse this year. I am the most confident of this roster. I do not even have a single position group that worries me outside of safety, but that's even up for debate. Win 3 and he will be top 5. Whew. We have Allen would need 3 to be considered anywhere near there, but we all know he is the GOAT if he wins a Super Bowl with the Bills, since that's been proved to be impossible so far. Here's something. Like, here's a pretty heavy debate and something I believe that should be a pretty good conversation. I want to say that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in Buffalo Bills history. I do think that it's not 100% confirmed, but I think that there could be a debate here where Josh is better than Jim Kelly. Bear with me and let me do some research, but I'm willing to hop on that bandwagon that Josh Allen is better than Jim Kelly. I don't know. Spidey Munn, who is our biggest threat in the AFC and the NFC? Spidey Munn has come in. Who is the biggest threat to the Buffalo Bills this year for the 1 seed, I'm assuming? Now, Spidey, I would say our biggest goal, or the one thing that Bills fans should be aiming for, is the 1 seed. I'd say the 1 seed is going to be between us and the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be us and the Baltimore Ravens. I think that Kansas City is certainly always in the conversation as far as playoff matchups because they always save their best ball for the playoffs. But as far as 1 seed, I think it's going to be between Baltimore and the Buffalo Bills. But let's see. Josh Allen is barely in the top 10 of current players. Dan Marino was and is trash. I don't know about that, man. Come on, man. If we lose to the Chiefs 5 times in a row in the playoffs, I want a whole new front office. I'm not sure that I could handle that. I'm not sure I'd be able to handle that, man. The reason why the Bills have not been making it to the Super Bowl is because of the defense, because they let games go at the end, and Sean McDermott and very questionable 3rd down play calling. Touche. With Josh Allen has not ever surpassed Jim Kelly yet. I'm going to have to do some research on this and compare statistics and compare the teams. And so I feel like a full-scale documentary or a full-scale short-form content about 3 minutes is going to go into this. Stay tuned for that. I will release it on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, and make sure you follow me over there. I'm going to Florida tomorrow. Dom, where in Florida are you going to, my friend? That's awesome. Fanged Hawk statement. Bills need to have their best game in the playoffs. And for the love of God, stay healthy, right? Like, wouldn't that be ideal if this team could finally stay healthy? Anyone saying Allen is barely top 10 is a clown. So the thing is that, all right, listen, my goal for the 2025 season as a content creator, I'm not going to bite into rage bait. I'm just not going to bite into rage bait. Robert has come in statement. Bills are going to the Super Bowl this year and winning it all. Robert, I love that. I really love that. Josh is better than Jim Kelly. Josh won an MVP. Christopher has come in with a pretty interesting take. I'm not going to lie. And Scott, Josh better than Jim Kelly, coming from a guy that watched every snap of Jimbo and admired his linebacker mentality. He was great, but Allen is generational. It's going to be one of those things that's going to cause quite a bit of debate, but I'm very excited to unpack it. I think that's a fun narrative where we could start diving into. Do you think Henry could take a step back? If he does, I don't think the Ravens are as scary. It's tough for me about Derrick Henry because he's such an anomaly where you get to a running back that crosses the age of 30 and you typically see a massive regression, but Derrick Henry completely defies all of those odds. I don't think he will. I still think that he's going to have a hell of a season as long as he can stay healthy. Live, we play more in rhythm and at higher efficiency when in a hurry up or fast-paced system. We seem to only go to that for 2-minute drives or playing catch up. What are your thoughts, or am I off base? I mean, listen, and so I think a lot of Bills fans are wanting to find a new variation of the K-gun offense, or say that Josh Allen's involved. We can go to the J-gun, where we just play hurry up the entire time. I just don't know whether or not that our team is conditioned enough to make that happen. I would love to see a hurry up offense from the very beginning of the game all the way until the end. But no, you are not off base at all, man. You are not off base at all. I feel the same, Dan. If Ravens can't get it done this year with a star-studded team, Lamar can be deemed Mr. Choke. It's going to be Bills versus Lions or Baltimore versus Lions this year in the playoffs. High on the Lions, I see, huh? Ken, I think if they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, and they should fire all their asses into this. We start over. I don't know about that, folks. We have Josh Allen is given an MVP. He was not the best quarterback last year. Bills run an offense that took the ball out of Allen's hands to stop the turnovers. He still made quite a few clutch plays, though. And plus, he did play with a broken hand for halfway through the season and still did pretty well. So I feel like context is certainly important. If the Bills are fully healthy, they will most likely win about 12 to 15 games and get the 1 seed. That is our best way of potentially making it to the Super Bowl, is the 1 seed. Like, the 1 seed is the number one priority for this team to accomplish this year. Run it all through Buffalo. And I hate to be that guy, but listen, you know what? And so I'm getting sick of rolling the dice. Oh, maybe we could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs this year. Somebody take care of the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like, somebody shock the Chiefs in the playoffs, and I would feel completely fine with it, right? And people are like, oh, Dan, like, that's some pussy shit. No, not at all, my friend, all right? Someone take care of us. Danny, I am in Poland right now repping the Bills. This is our effing years. F the Finns. Damn. Matthew, enjoy Poland, my friend. Fact, if Henry gets more than 100 yards a game, we lose. If he gets over 100 yards a game, we lose. I like it. And that is a Bills fan happy about MVP and not Super Bowl appearances. Well, very much like how Dolphins fans are happy about Tua being top 3 in passing yards, but not any playoff success, right, Glenn? Maya, we won't get anywhere without Sean McDermott. Maya, preach it. Statement, Rams might make the bowl this year. Rams are a slept-on team that not a lot of people are talking about. Have to agree there. Fanged Hawk. Question, will the Super Bowl ever be played in a cold state again? Say that there's a dome? Yeah. But no, man, I just don't think that they're ever going to have an outdoor stadium during the Super Bowl anymore. The number one reason by far was not being able to get off the field on third downs, period. Absolutely. I think we can all agree there. Bills, Rams, Super Bowl, not a bad take. Not a bad take whatsoever. Don't sleep on the Rams and Sean McVay. Very young, very talented defense, and a crazy good pass rush that nobody's talking about. And so I forgot that Glenn's a big hater. He is, but we love Glenn over here. Glenn, we had the best offense in the league. Please tell me who leads the way in that. Oh, man. The Chiefs will struggle to get out of their division this year. Hot take. When we get to the Super Bowl, Josh Allen will put on a highlight show for generations. Inject it into my veins, Charles. Robert, Bills are poised for the 1 seed with the schedule they will have to play. There is no reason why Bills can't or shouldn't win 15 games. That is certainly the expectation for me, at least. But we shall see. McDermott is a bit scary in the playoffs. So I got to tell you what, last couple of seasons, barring a couple of questionable play calls here and there, not nearly as bad as the 13-second loss. So last couple of years, I'd probably have to exclusively put on into the injury bug and our depth players just not fitting the scheme. I really think if we can beat the Ravens week 1 and beat the Chiefs, we will get the 1 seed, and that will be a big factor. All 4 AFC West teams make the playoffs, Dan. Fight me. Damn, bro. Damn. For sure. All right, guys. That's going to have to do it for another edition of the Don Mafia Report. It is the off season. I think these shows are going to be running about 30 minutes, 45 minutes at most. Don't worry. Once the season comes along, I know that we'll be chopping it up quite a bit when it comes into actual previews and when there is news to discuss. Some good things to look forward to this evening, guys. I will be live on 4th and Forever, our daily NFL news show on the Roundtable Sports Network. Certainly go subscribe to that channel. We're live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. EST. I think we're doing position rankings for the AFC East today, which is pretty interesting. And then we're doing the AFC East Roundtable this evening as well. So make sure you're subscribed to all those channels. Again, I'm super excited to announce that I will be hosting a college football show this year. That's going to be launching in August over on Roundtable, so stay tuned. I will be giving you all the information that you need once that comes to fruition. But besides that, guys, let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. And I guess right before I let you go Bills. Peace.